Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are taking a really critical look at the sources you sent over, all about the mechanics of our inner dialogue.
Hmm.
We're really zeroing in on this material from healing your self-talk through mirror work,
Hmm.
and specifically the intensive stuff laid out for day 3.
Yeah, and our mission for this deep dive is to go a bit beyond just, saying negative self-talk is bad.
Right.
We need to analyze the actual cognitive mechanisms the material is describing, where these negative messages start, the psychological trap they set, and I think most importantly, the actionable tools for making a change, like right now.
So we're talking mirror work, but also these like tiny linguistic shifts that can unlock a whole new sense of agency.
Exactly.
And anyone who follows this topic knows the stakes here are pretty high. This isn't just some superficial motivational talk.
No, not at all.
The source material is demanding. It really asks us to monitor that constant inner voice, replace those old beliefs, and actively let go of the past. It's all about being truly present.
It is.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the absolute foundation.
The foundation here is really the concept of self-talk itself. I mean, it's that running commentary inside our own heads
The stuff we say to ourselves all day.
all day long. And while that might sound kind of trivial, the material argues pretty persuasively, I think, that this inner voice becomes the basis for everything we end up saying out loud.
So it sets up the whole, what's it called, the mental atmosphere we live in?
That's the phrase, the mental atmosphere.
The atmosphere, wow, that is a powerful metaphor.
Yeah.
Because a negative atmosphere, it doesn't just make you feel bad, it actually shapes your reality.
It really does.
So if the internal climate is toxic, where did that pollution even start?
Well, it almost always starts from the outside. The source material traces the root of this negative self-talk back to these early, powerful messages we just soaked up from authority figures.
Parents, teachers.
Parents, teachers, older siblings, anyone we looked up to or maybe even feared. Think about those common things kids hear. Stop crying like a baby.
You never clean your room.
Or, why won't you just make your bed for once? That constant nagging critique.
And those messages when you're a kid, they don't just stay as like external comments.
Yeah.
They become your identity.
They do. And this is the most dangerous part you mentioned earlier. It's that conditional trap.
Yeah.
As children, our whole sense of being loved often became conditional. We sort of subconsciously learned that we were worthy or lovable or okay only if we did certain things or acted a certain way.
And that external conditionality just becomes the blueprint for how we judge ourselves as adults.
Exactly. If we don't meet some impossible standard we've set for ourselves now, that inner voice just plays the old tape back. You're not good enough.
But the material really pushes us to make a critical distinction here. It's a huge mental reset. That acceptance that we wanted from others,
Yeah.
it was based on their ideas of what was worthwhile.
Yes, that is the crucial insight. It had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with our inherent self-worth. Those judgments came from someone else's expectations, under their own limitations, maybe even their mood that day. But we took those external rules and made them our own internal self-talk.
That's the difference between saying, I failed a test, and actually believing I am a failure.
That's it. And the immediate impact of that belief really determines the quality of your whole life. The material warns that if we constantly belittle ourselves, life will mean very little to us.
But on the other hand, if we can shift that inner voice to one of appreciation, of unconditional self-love, life can become this wonderful, joyous gift.
The internal dialogue is literally writing the script for your external experience.
Wow.
And that whole transformation, it starts by understanding the incredible power of language, of our words.
Sources really stress that. Words aren't neutral.
Not at all. They're creative tools. We have to start listening, almost like a scientist, to what we're actually building with those tools, both inside our heads and when we speak.
And when you start listening, you often notice a really big defense mechanism.
The blame trap.
The blame dead end. Yeah. If you feel unhappy or stuck, the easiest way out, psychologically, is just to blame the world. Blame your parents, your boss, or, as the source puts it, the Almighty.
It feels good for a second, right? Because you're handing off responsibility. But it is a cage you build for yourself.
The material is so blunt about this.
It is. It says if you choose blame, you give up your power. You will stay stuck in your conditions, your problems, and your frustrations. Blame just doesn't lead to freedom. It's an announcement of powerlessness.
I think this is where the material gets really practical, though. It talks about how we're always circulating stories.
Right, internally and externally. And the strategy isn't to, fight the negative thoughts.
No.
It's to monitor the story's circulation. You see the negative story, you acknowledge it, and you just let it pass. You recognize it has gone far enough.
But the active part is the replacement.
The active part, the real work, is when you catch yourself thinking or telling a positive story. You make a conscious choice to tell that story to everyone. You use your external voice to reinforce the new internal climate. It's a deliberate broadcast of your new mental state.
That's so interesting. It's like you're taking energetic responsibility for what you put out in the world.
Exactly.
Which brings us to this truly remarkable section, where the focus gets laser sharp on just one word, a word that signals all this internal conflict and rigidity. Here's where it gets really interesting linguistically.
We are talking about the tyranny of the word should.
Right.
The author points out that once you start listening for it, your ear becomes very attuned to it. It's like a little warning bell going off. People will use it a dozen times in a single paragraph and not even notice.
And the connection the source makes is just so insightful. The people who are always saying should are the same ones who feel the most stuck.
They're the ones wondering, why is my life so rigid? Why can't I leave this job? Why am I trying to control everything?
So why is should so bad?
Because should is a judgment. Every single time you use it, you're imposing this rigid external standard on yourself or on someone else.
I should be working harder.
He shouldn't have said that. You're basically just declaring this is not good enough. The word makes prisoners of us because it yanks out the idea of choice and shoves in obligation, guilt, and failure.
So it puts you in this box of right or wrong, and you almost always feel like you're on the wrong side.
You do.
So the solution offered on day 3 is just. It's profound, but it's so simple.
It really is. Replace the word should with the word could.
That one change.
It's maybe the highest leverage change you can make. Could immediately brings agency back into the picture. The material says could lets you know that you have a choice. And choice isn't obligation. Choice is freedom.
Even if the choice is hard. I could leave this job, or I could stay and find a way to grow.
The agency is still yours. The rigidity just dissolves.
And this is all reinforced by what the source calls the heart thought for day 3.
It's a powerful mantra. It's this reminder that we always have a choice and that fundamentally there is really nothing we have to do. We can choose to do things, but the obligation part is something we put on ourselves.
That is a pivot point, isn't it? It shifts your whole mental foundation from judgment to just possibility.
Permission and possibility.
So let's move from the theory to the practice.
Yeah.
The cornerstone here is the day 3 mirror work.
Right. And the goal is simply to use this new awareness to nurture and heal yourself.
The first step is simple, but I imagine it's really emotionally challenging for a lot of people.
It can be. You just stand or sit in front of a mirror, you look directly into your own eyes, and you repeat the core affirmation. Whatever I say to myself, I will say it with love.
And the instruction says to repeat it until it feels comfortable. That part feels really key.
It is key, because for so many of us, the first time you try to say something loving to yourself in the mirror, it feels like a total lie. It brings up all this resistance.
Yeah.
But that resistance is just the old programming fighting back. That feeling of it being fake is just the old pattern saying you're only worthy if you meet certain conditions. The repetition is how you override that noise. It's literally cognitive restructuring in real time.
You're retraining your whole system to accept unconditional love as the new default.
Exactly.
And the source has a really specific technique for those stubborn negative messages, the ones from childhood, like you're stupid or you're not good enough.
You just ignore them. You actively transform them.
Right, into their positive opposite.
Transformation is the key. So let's say you have that lingering feeling of incompetence, that inner voice that says you never do anything right. You consciously transform that. You replace it with powerful, comprehensive affirmation like, I am a capable person and I can handle anything that comes my way.
That's a huge shift.
Yeah.
From a specific past failure to a general present capability, the whole new identity statement.
And the source gives you a whole toolkit of these affirmations to reinforce your intelligence. I am smart. I am a genius with an abundance of creative ideas.
And ones for your inherent worth.
I am a magnificent person, and the absolute foundation, I am lovable, I am worth loving. These are statements of being. They have no conditions attached.
And to make sure this isn't just, a 1-minute exercise you do in the morning.
There's a reinforcement strategy.
Yeah, leveraging all the reflective surfaces in our lives.
Correct. The practical step is to pick 1 or 2 of those new affirmations and just repeat them every single time you pass any reflection during your day. A mirror, a window, a shiny toaster.
It's like microdosing positive self-talk.
That's a great way to put it. It
Yeah.
maintains that new mental atmosphere. It's a constant, active declaration that the power is within you, and you are the only authority on your own worth.
It turns the practice from a chore into a continuous habit of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about integration. The journaling exercises are really there to solidify all this.
They're designed to make your subconscious patterns conscious. The first one is about that story circulation we talked about.
Right.
You literally track how many times you told a negative story, and then you consciously plan a positive, life-affirming story to share the next day. You just interrupt the cycle of negative gossip about yourself and others.
The second exercise goes right after that linguistic rigidity.
The should exercise. Every time you catch yourself thinking or saying should, you write it down. And right next to it, you write alternative, starting with could. It forces that mental shift from obligation to choice.
And the last one is simple, just a physical reminder.
Post your new affirmations on your mirror. Make it impossible to look at your reflection without being prompted to practice that positive self-talk.
This whole process really boils down to two anchoring statements, doesn't it?
It does. I release all the negative messages from my past, and I live in the present moment.
A past is conditional. The present is choice.
Exactly. And all of this commitment culminates in the final practice for day 3, which is the healing meditation.
Which the material positions as, what, the most powerful healing force we have? Love.
The single most powerful force. The visualization is beautiful. You're instructed to see yourself completely surrounded by love, happy, healthy, and whole.
You picture your life exactly as you want it to be, in all the detail, and you internalize the truth that you absolutely deserve it.
And, crucially, the meditation is about circulation. You feel the love flowing from your heart, filling your body with healing energy. But it doesn't stop there.
No.
That energy has to expand. It circulates outward, into the room, through your home, out into the world. It has to go out from you and return to you.
It prevents love from being hoarded. It has to be a cycle.
A continuous cycle of abundance and acceptance.
If we connect this back to the bigger picture then, the core argument is just so compelling.
Is.
If our inner self-talk creates our mental atmosphere, then changing that dialogue from judgment and blame to unconditional love and choice is the ultimate act of agency. It changes your lived experience.
It allows that self-worth you were born with, which was never based on what others thought, to finally come to the surface and run the show. The acceptance you wanted as a kid, you now supply it to yourself constantly and unconditionally.
And that transition from the rigid should to the freeing could is where all the power is.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now?
It means that every single thing you do today, from the moment you wake up, is fundamentally a choice. Even when it feels like an obligation, the decision to participate is still a choice.
So if everything is a choice, and choice is freedom, what is one rigid rule, one lingering should that you have held on to, that you can consciously recognize and just drop today to immediately feel that freedom in your life?
Just think about that immediate sense of lightness.
A powerful invitation to liberation.
Indeed.
We look forward to diving deeper with you next time on The Deep Dive.